Hey, I'm Christy with 12 Tomatoes, and today I'm going to be cooking something for the Recipe Tin project, which is where I make an old recipe from a recipe card from this recipe tin. Today we're working on tater tot burger dish. Now we have at least a few tater tot casseroles on the 12 Tomatoes site, but I have never personally made them. So when I saw this recipe card, I was intrigued because who doesn't love tater tots? And tater tots and ground beef are kind of a classic combination. But then I looked a little closer and I had some qualms. I'm a little scared of this one, guys, but more on that later. So this is the tater tot burger dish recipe card. It's just an index card, and someone has taken the time to sit down at a typewriter and type out the recipe. I wonder why they would do that. Maybe they were giving this recipe to a bunch of people, so they wanted to type out a few very quickly, or maybe they just really like their typewriter. But the things I noticed at first is I think tater tot is spelled wrong. T-A-T-O-R, yeah? Let me check. Yeah, it should be T-A-T-E-R. It's really simple, there's no pre-cooking. Just pop it in the oven and it's done. So let's get started. The first thing it calls for is a pound of ground beef, which I have in here. Okay, it does say to mix everything together, so as I talk about them, I'm just gonna dump them in. This is a half cup of oatmeal, a half teaspoon of salt, which I will measure for the sake of the recipe, even though I normally don't. I just eyeball it. What else? A quarter teaspoon of pepper. I'm not gonna measure that. Sorry. That's probably a quarter teaspoon. And then the thing I am most concerned about. The ingredients call for a half cup of condensed milk. Now, I have only ever seen sweetened condensed milk. And putting sweetened condensed milk in a burger and tater tot dish does not make a lot of sense to me. So I thought maybe this is an old recipe and maybe it used to be common for there to be condensed milk that wasn't sweetened. Now we would just call that evaporated milk. But I did some internet research and that doesn't seem to be the case. So my best judgment says that we should use evaporated milk here. Since it isn't sweetened, I'm going to follow the recipe and I'm going to put sweetened condensed milk in with the hamburger meat. We shall see. Here we go. They want a half cup of that. It's so thick. And then the next thing we need is a lightly beaten egg. Oh, it doesn't say lightly beaten, it just says beaten. So we'll beat that up a little bit before we put it in with the rest of the stuff. Okay, there's that. Mix meat, oatmeal, salt, pepper, egg, and milk, condensed milk, together. Pat into 8x8 baking dish. So I'll just do that by hand. So I'm gonna take my rings off. I don't want burger in my wedding ring. And we'll get messy. I really don't know about this sweetened condensed milk in with the meat thing. But other than that, it's pretty similar to a meatloaf so far because you've got the ground beef, the oatmeal, the egg, and normally you might use regular milk to soak the oats or to soak bread when you do a meatloaf. So that's pretty similar. And meatloaf and tater tots go well together, so this could be a success. But I'm a little afraid. It smells kind of sweet. There's more to be concerned about in a minute. We'll get there. Okay, that's all mixed, and then it says to pat it into an 8x8 baking dish. We'll pat that in. Okay, that's pretty even. I'm gonna wash my hands and then we'll move on to the next step. The next thing we're supposed to do is to cover with peas and carrots, and then, for whatever reason, sprinkle that with a tablespoon of sugar. As if the sweetened condensed milk wasn't cause for concern, now there's extra sugar over the peas and carrots. Maybe This will all make sense in the end. It doesn't say what size bag of peas and carrots, so I'm just going to use my best judgment and sprinkle these over the top. So it's kind of like a whole meal in a casserole dish, because you have your protein, your vegetables, and then you have your starch with the tater tots. It's maybe not the healthiest, but that's okay. So this was a 16-ounce bag. I didn't use the whole thing. I just kind of did a single layer. I don't want that to be too heavy. And then it calls for a tablespoon of sugar that you sprinkle over the top. There's some coffee in my sugar. Hold on. Why? Why would we do this? You don't need any extra sweetness because peas and carrots are already pretty sweet as it is. And it's not like it encourages browning because it's in the middle of the casserole. Next is a casserole classic, at least at some point in time. Condensed cream of mushroom soup. Hi. It's not something that I personally use a lot, but it has its place in the retro casserole field. So they say to just pour this over the top of the peas and carrots. It's pretty gloppy. And the point of cream of mushroom soup is usually in place of like a bechamel sauce. It does add creaminess, but it's not my personal go-to choice. Okay, cream of mushroom soup on top of the sugar. Next step is to put tater tots on top. So once again, it does not say what size bag of tater tots to use. I've got a 28-ounce bag here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and arrange them in a single layer and we'll see how far we get. This will be pretty boring, so maybe we'll speed up. Okay, there we have it. It's ready to go in the oven. I'd say that was about half the bag of tater tots, so you don't need a 28-ounce bag. Is that what I said I had? Yeah. So that means I get to make some tater tots for lunch. This takes an hour in a 350-degree oven, and we will see what happens. It's got some good layering. See you soon. Okay, here is tater tot burger dish. So it's time to try it, which I still have some concerns about, but I will try to keep an open mind. Here we go. As a review, this had ground beef with sweetened condensed milk mixed into it. What else was there? Can you turn that down, sweetie? It's too loud. All right, here goes nothing. As a reminder, this was ground beef, oatmeal, sweetened condensed milk, salt, pepper, and then peas and carrots with sugar over them for some reason, followed by cream of mushroom soup, and finally tater tots, which is the part I am most excited about. And now is the time to see how this all works out. Not gonna lie, it does not smell great. It smells a little sweet. I've got a bite with everything in it. Here we go. No. It's not as awful as I thought it was gonna be. It's a little too sweet, but not like overwhelmingly so. But I don't see what that sugar accomplished. The peas are totally sweet enough on their own. Let me try to get some of just the meat with the... Yeah, the meat by itself definitely tastes weird and too sweet. I think if you skip the sugar and you used evaporated milk instead of the sweetened condensed milk, it would be fine. So I don't know what that was all about. Maybe there used to be unsweetened condensed milk, or maybe the person who wrote this meant to use evaporated milk. Who knows? Okay, you win some, you lose some. But at least there's tots. Thank you, sweetie. Happy cooking. Oh, and subscribe, because coming up in that tin, there is a recipe that combines both beets and lemon jello, and possibly some horseradish. And I don't think you want to miss that. Have a good day.